Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen apologizes for mistakenly stating that detained Australian professor Sean Turnell was released by the Myanmar military government. Myanmar military leader Min Aung Hlaing has agreed to arrange for the ASEAN Special Envoy to meet members of the ousted ruling party in a future visit. Queen Elizabeth celebrates her 70-year reign, making her the longest reigning British monarch in history. The International Olympic Committee told reporters that it was not the IOC's place to judge whether Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai is speaking freely. And a symbolic resurrection on the streets of La Paz, Bolivia marks the return of carnival celebrations to the city after a pandemic pause. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gauchan. The TV series Sun Under the Full Moon, chronicling the life of Prime Minister Hun Sen and his wife, will start shooting on 15th February after receiving recommendations from the Prime Minister to prepare the location and details of the story. 8 more episodes have been added to the series, bringing the total number of episodes to 52. In the second meeting between Prime Minister Hun Sen and the production team of Sun Under the Full Moon, writer Huy Viesna said that the delay in filming, which was previously scheduled to start in January, was due to problems related to COVID-19, some historical characters to be supplemented, and some materials that still needed to be found. He added that the addition of 8 more episodes was also recommended by Prime Minister Hun Sen on 13th December 2021 during the Krong Piali or blessing ceremony when he proposed to the commission to add some historical characters and new scenes to the story. Prime Minister Hun Sen reminded the production team to continue to do more in-depth research on the story, historical location, and characters in the series. He advised them to film certain scenes on location at historical sites and said the actors must be well trained to have a clear and in-depth understanding of the real history behind the story. Sun Under the Full Moon is an adaptation of the real-life story of Prime Minister Hun Sen and his wife Bunrani Hun Sen, and will cover the Prime Minister's history since his birth, leaving his hometown to go and study in Phnom Penh, studying with monks in Niek Vuan Pagoda, into the time of the Khmer Rouge when he and his wife were separated and then later reunited, and more. During the blessing ceremony, Prime Minister Hun Sen wished the team as well as all the actors success in the production of Sun Under the Full Moon, and for it to be completed smoothly and as planned, so that the Cambodian people and the international community can watch the series and learn the history of Cambodia. Prime Minister Hun Sen posted a message on his official Facebook page on Monday evening, apologizing for mistakenly stating that the detained Australian professor Sean Turnell, a former advisor to Aung San Suu Kyi, had been released by the Myanmar military government. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has the story.
In a post made by Prime Minister Hun Sen on his Facebook page on Tuesday night, he clarified that he had mistakenly stated that Australian professor Sean Turnell had been released by the Myanmar military government during his speech at the inauguration ceremony of National Road No. 7 in Kratie province. He said that the release of Professor Sean Turnell is something he had requested to Myanmar military leader Min Aung Hlaing when meeting with him. He clarified that he misspoke on the matter of his release due to some wrong information he received and apologized for this mistake. Immediately after, the Prime Minister posted this message. A spokesman from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation released a clarification statement saying the announcement of Professor Sean Turnell's release was due to false information. The spokesperson further recalled that Prime Minister Hun Sen, when meeting with Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, had raised the issue of Professor Sean Turnell's detention, for which the Senior General assured he would consider the case once the Australian professor's court process ends. Sean Turnell is a former advisor to deposed state councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, who was arrested for the February 2021 military coup. Turnell, a professor of economics, had been charged with violating Myanmar's state privacy law and is facing maximum sentencing of 14 years in prison. Robin Lim, EAC News.
Myanmar military leader Senior General Min Aung Hlaing has agreed to arrange for the ASEAN Special Envoy to meet members of the ousted ruling party on a future visit, a senior Cambodian official has announced on Monday. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
The pledge, made on January 26th video call with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen, represents a small concession in a deadlocked peace process, since Myanmar military has seized power a year ago from the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi National League for Democracy (NLD). Myanmar's Army Commander-in-Chief Min Aung Hlaing did not identify which members of the NLD might be made available, revealed by the minister delegate attached to Prime Minister Hun Sen and also a member of the Supreme National Economic Council, Kyaw Kim Hun, who was part of the video meeting. They have said during the video conference between our Prime Minister and Senior General Min Aung Hlaing that they would provide access to some of the NLD figures, but we don't know those yet, Kyaw Kim Hun has mentioned. A spokesman for Myanmar's junta did not answer a telephone call seeking comment. Myanmar has been in crisis since the military seized power, with about 1,500 civilians have been killed in the junta's crackdown on its opponents, according to figures cited by the United Nations Human Rights Office. Involving all parties to Myanmar's crisis in dialogue is a key pillar of an ASEAN peace process adopted by the 10-nation bloc last year. Among the others are ending violence and welcoming a special envoy. Dozens of NLD party members have been detained since the February 1, 2021 coup. A spokesperson of the NLD exiled remaining leadership, Nai Phonlat, has said any meetings with the ASEAN envoy should be agreed on by the party. General Min Aung Hlaing's pledge was not enough for Cambodia to invite Myanmar to next week's ASEAN's foreign ministers' retreat. Cambodia, this year ASEAN's chair, has asked Myanmar to name a non-political representative, continuing the exclusion of junta's officials that began at last year's annual Leaders Summit. Dekanin, EAC News.
A press conference was held by the Sun Hak Peace Prize Foundation on Monday, where it was confirmed there would be 3 winners to receive the Sun Hak Peace Prize in 2022, with Prime Minister Hun Sen as the first person and leader in ASEAN to receive this award. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
The Sun Hak Peace Prize Foundation held a press conference on Monday evening, announcing the winners of the 2022 Peace Prize. The 3 winners were announced at the awards ceremony in February, including the co-founder of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the GAVA vaccine alliance with the Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen. The president of the Universal Peace Foundation for the Asian Pacific and Special Envoy of the World Summit, Eknat Daka, said in the press conference attended by journalists from 197 institutions from around the world that the Sun Hak Prize presented to Prime Minister Hun Sen reflects for his leadership of the sustainable development in Cambodia and Asian Pacific region, for which he has been involved in many areas, especially as the Asian 2022 ASEAN Chair and while attending many international meetings. Prime Minister Hun Sen will travel to Seoul, South Korea on the 10th of February to co-chair the 2022 World Summit to examine ways to bring peace to the Korean Peninsula. While there, he will also receive the Sun Hak Peace Prize on the 12th of February as planned. The prize includes a gold medal and a $1 million. The Sun Hak Peace Prize was established by recognise the dignitaries and institutions that we have worked to severe humanity, to act as a model for making the world a better place for future generations and to create and commemorate the visions of peace of the Sounders, Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Ya Han Moon. 9 individuals have already received awards since the inception of 2015, including former United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon and African Development Bank President Akawami Yoji Adesenda. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Ministry of Interior has requested the Capital Provincial Board of Governors to facilitate political parties that are legally registered to contest at the upcoming Commune District Council election of the 5th mandate in 2022 and the 7th parliamentary election in 2023 with their political activities to ensure a free, fair, and just system. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has more.
In a letter dated 7 January 2022, the Ministry of Interior stated that all legally registered political parties were free to open offices, raise party logos, hold political rallies, or gather party officials after simply informing the commune district authorities in writing. The ministry included that it is not necessary to ask for permission from the commune district authorities in advance, but parties should cooperate with the competent authorities within understanding. Beyond the listed activities, however, prior request from the authorities is required. The Ministry of Interior states that applications must be submitted to the commune district authorities at least 3 days before a banner or political meeting, and commune district authorities must also consider these requests within their jurisdiction in terms of security, order, safety, especially traffic safety, aesthetics, and public hygiene, and must respond to the applications in 1 day. Nearly 50 political parties are currently registered within the Ministry of Interior. The 5th Commune District Council election will be held on the 4th of June, 2022. Robin Lim, EAC News.
The Minister of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation, Vung Sot, has set the work direction in the new year by encouraging factories, enterprises, and private companies to accept persons with disabilities to work at a fixed rate. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
During the opening ceremony of the meeting, he summarised the 2021 Works Result Implementation Direction of 2022 at the Ministry of Affairs. Minister Vung Sot said the ministry will also require factories, enterprises, private companies to strengthen the implementation of the law, the protection, the better promotion of the rights of persons with disabilities. Mr. Vung Sot said that over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, the ministry provided cash support to 250,000 pregnant women as well as children under 2 years old. The cash support program for the poor and the vulnerable families during the fight against COVID-19 has so far reached 700,000 families. In addition, the National Centre of Treatment and Rehabilitation of Drug Addicts was established in Priya Sihanouk Province, as well as Drug Addiction Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre in Kandal Province. The minister added that the Cambodian National Centre for the Disabled also began construction in Kandal Province. Minister Vung Sot continued to say that we still have many challenges that require us to continue to work together to find solutions such as climate change, outbreaks, migration, homelessness, human trafficking, labour trafficking, sexual exploitation, drug use, and demographic change. In response to these issues, he urged for the continued implementation of social assistance program, as well as the development of national society policy to define the vision, priorities, work and responsibility of the relevant actors to receive juveniles who are also in conflict with the law and educate and rehabilitate them. He further urged for the strengthening of expansion of the program to identify persons with disabilities in order to ensure their rights to continue to provide policies to support them, including policies on the travel and food provisions. As from 2020, there are 8,768 persons with disability registered nationwide working in public and private institutions, 4,204 of them whom are women. Additionally, as of 8 of November 2021, the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation, in cooperation with the relevant ministries and institutions, including the Capital and Provisional Disability Action Council, to process disability identification cards throughout the country, producing a total of 215,358 disability cards thus far, where 26,949 persons with disabilities are classified as self-employed entrepreneurs. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Minister of Social Affairs, Vung Sot, urged the continuation of the pilot program to accept minors who are in conflict with the law to receive an appropriate amount of rehabilitation and to gradually expand the amount in accordance with the capacity and ability of rehabilitation centers, as well as to expedite the completion of remaining legal documents as soon as possible. EAC News reporter Straipor Kong has the details.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the meeting to review the result of 2021 and the direction of implementation in 2022, Minister Vung Sot said that although Cambodia suffered from the COVID-19 pandemic, Cambodia was able to continue developing and building the country forward. He urged the leadership of the ministry to continue formulating a national social policy to determine the vision, priority, work, and responsibility of all stakeholders to reduce difficulties, improve life, and preserve the dignity and honor of the people. He further called for the expansion of the volume of juvenile delinquents being transferred to juvenile rehabilitation centers to receive rehabilitative education and reintegrate them into the society. The Youth Rehabilitation Center, located in Baku Commune, Kandal District, Kandal Province, was officially inaugurated on 28 December 2021 to receive defendants, convicts, and inmates under the age of 18 for rehabilitation to reintegrate into society. The launch of the Youth Rehabilitation Center has contributed to the promotion of juvenile justice law and the protection of the rights, safety, and well-being of youth in line with the United Nations Commission on Management of Juvenile Justice and the United Nations Rule for the Protection of Minors. There are currently 1,422 juveniles in prison across Cambodia, including 450 defendants, 310 suspects, 401 convicts, and 241 inmates. The minors in prison were involved in 452 drug-related offenses, 125 robberies, 109 thefts, 34 murders, 31 rapes, and 671 other crimes. Sri Pokong, EAC News.
Senior Minister and First Deputy Chairman of the Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority, Lee Thuy, has said that while Cambodia still faces challenges with landmines, the remaining 2,017 square kilometers of land, of which close to 800 square kilometers is affected by landmines, is planned to be completely cleared of the unexploded ordnances by 2025. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
During a review meeting between the Senior Minister Lee Thuy, Director Juan Carlos Ruan of the Implementation Support Unit ISU, and Senior ISU Officer Gregory Cathcart, it was concluded that based on a feasibility assessment, Cambodia, a state party to the Ottawa Convention, also known as the Mine Ban Treaty, had not been able to achieve its 2019 target of clearing all landmines in the country. Cambodia had previously set a goal to clear all landmines in the country over a 10-year period between 2010 to 2019. While falling short of meeting its goal, by 2019, a total of 8,290 minefields had been cleared of anti-personnel mines, 101,424 anti-tank mines, 1,560 munitions, and 73,231 explosive remnants of war, over more than 577 square meters of land. Senior Minister Lee Thuy said that after the review and in accordance with the spirit of the Maputo Plus 15 Declaration in 2014, Cambodia has proposed to extend the demining goal for another 6 years, from 2020 to 2025, to achieve complete freedom from landmines by 2025. In response, Director Juan Carlos Ruan congratulated and commended the royal government of Cambodia for taking care of and organizing a clear structure for the coordination and management of the Cambodian mine action sector, and also expressed his high appreciation for the achievements of the mining work in the past, even despite the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. On the occasion of this meeting, the ISU director continued that he wished to ask Cambodia to host a global conference on assistance of anti-personnel mines and other explosive remnants of war and disability rights, which is scheduled to be held in 2023, with the support of the European Union and participation of 200 countries. As of December 2021, Cambodia has cleared 2,328 square kilometers of land from unexploded ordnances and destroyed 1,118,810 anti-personnel mines, 25,952 anti-tank mines and explosive remnants of war, and 2,983,416 cluster bombs with 7,732,538 beneficiaries. Dekanin, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 102 new COVID-19 cases, including 15 that are imported. There have been 74 patient recoveries and once more 0 deaths. The kingdom recorded 87 new community and 15 new imported cases of the new variant. This means that Cambodia has now recorded 1,542 cases of Omicron, 564 imported, and 978 community cases. The kingdom's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 121,983. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 118,286, and the tally for imported cases has climbed to 20,421. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 759 patients. And now for a look at news making international headlines this Tuesday, 8th February.
Villagers in central Madagascar have shoveled mud from a road on Sunday, February 6, to clear damage from a landslide caused by cyclone Batsirai. A road was damaged in the central Madagascar region of Huate Matsitra while trucks were stuck and a car had to be pushed through the mud left on the road after the cyclone passed through. Batsirai has made landfall on Madagascar's eastern coastline late on Saturday, February 5, with residents reporting strong winds, a power blackout, and houses have destroyed as the storm swept inland. There were fears that Batsirai could compound the devastation wreaked by another cyclone, Anna, which hit the island just 2 weeks ago, killing 55 people. A local weather bulletin has said the Batsirai storm system hit an area about 14 kilometers north of the town of Manjari in Madagascar's southeast. The cyclone had average winds of about 165 kilometers per hour.
Mexican authorities on Sunday, February 6th, have cleared a makeshift camp in the north of the country, where hundreds of migrants heading towards the U.S. border had been holding out for more than a year in what rights organizations have criticized as deplorable conditions. Nearly 400 migrants have been transferred by bus to 3 different shelters near the border city of Tijuana, said the city's mayor Montserrat Caballero. Caballero has promised help for those migrants regardless of whether they want to stay in Tijuana or return to their countries of origin. Dozens of security personnel, including soldiers from the National Guard, were seen dissolving the makeshift camp fenced by metal mesh. Families, including parents with small children, were seen packing up their belongings. There were no reports of violence. On Saturday, Mexico's National Human Rights Commission, CNDH, has urged immigration authorities to speed up the processes that would help nearly 2,000 migrants at the southern border get documents to regularize their stay in Mexico or let them travel through the country without being detained. Tens of thousands of migrants flee their home countries each year in an attempt to reach the United States, but many of them also seek refuge and protection in Mexico.
Dog in the car!
A dog is saved after being rescued from a burning car by Douglas County Sheriff Deputy. Deputy Michael Gregorick has responded to the report of a car fire to find an SUV with smoke coming out of the windows. A man by the vehicle was calling out for help, saying his dog was trapped inside. The deputy began breaking the car windows with a baton, with the owner calling out to his dog, Hank. The owner has tried pulled out his dog of the car, but become overwhelmed. Deputy Gregorick has reached inside and managed to pull the animal out of the vehicle and put him onto the snow. According to the sheriff's office, a veterinarian who lived next door checked on the dog and confirmed he was fine.
Australia will fully reopen its borders to all vaccinated visa holders from February 21st, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has announced on Monday, February 7th, nearly 2 years after he shut the borders to non-citizens to slow down the spread of the coronavirus.
Australia has been pursuing a staggered border reopening since last year, allowing skilled migrants, international students, and backpackers to enter the country. The reopening represents the first time since March 2020 that people can travel to Australia from anywhere in the world as long as they are vaccinated. The tourism industry, which has relied on the domestic market that has itself been heavily impacted by movement restrictions, has welcomed the decision, which comes 3 months before Morrison is due to face an election. Around 2.4 million cases have been recorded since the first Omicron case was detected in Australia in November. Until then, Australia had counted around 200,000 cases. Total deaths stands at 4,248 since the pandemic began.
China's foreign ministry on Tuesday has condemned the latest planned U.S. arms sale to Taiwan, stating it seriously undermined the country's security and sovereignty. China will take robust measures to uphold its own security interests, spokesman Zhao Lijian has told a daily news briefing.
US approves a $100 million deal for Taiwan Patriot missiles, and China condemns this latest planned US arms sale to Taiwan. Defense support comes amid heightened tensions over the self-ruled Democratic Island, which Beijing claims as its own. The United States has approved a $100 million support contract with Taiwan, which aimed at boosting the island's missile defense systems amid heightened tensions with China. The funds would be used to sustain, maintain and improve the South-ruled island's Patriot missiles defense system, the Pentagon said on Monday. A statement from the US Defense Security Corporation, DSCA, said it had delivered the required certification notifying Congress following the State Department approval for the sale, which was requested by Taiwan's de facto embassy in Washington. Upgrades to the Patriot air defense system would help improve the security of the recipient and assist in maintaining political stability, military balance, economic and process in the region, the DSCA had said in a statement.
Since 1952, there have been 7 popes, 14 US presidents, and 13 British prime ministers, but there has only been one British monarch. Queen Elizabeth II has reigned for 70 years, which is longer than any British monarch in history and any current monarch in the world. She was 25 years old when she first ascended to the throne. 41 gun salutes were fired from parapet of the castle in London and Edinburgh on Monday, February 7th, by the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery to mark the 70th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's accession to the throne.
Another gun salute was fired from the Tower of London on Monday afternoon to mark the occasion of Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor's 70th year reign as Queen of the United Kingdom and 14 other Commonwealth realms. Elizabeth became the Queen of Britain and more than a dozen other realms, including Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, on the death of her father, King George VI, on February 6, 1952, while she was in Kenya on an international tour at age 25. Britain will hold 4 days of national events in June to mark her Platinum Jubilee. During her 7 decades on the throne, the Queen has been a symbol of stability for the country during huge social, economic, and political change, including the end of the British Empire.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
តើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889និង016 823 848រ៉ាហ្វីកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់
something, you about to see something. It's coming, we're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down, we're unstoppable now. Fade to black, take a bow, yeah. We're unstoppable now.
China's teen skiing sensation and home crowd favorite Eileen Gu wins gold on Tuesday in the women's free ski big air competition and crashes the Chinese internet. The 18-year-old is taking home the Olympic gold medal in women's free ski big air.
Sports fans across China temporarily crushed the country's leading social media platform on Tuesday as tens of millions rushed online to celebrate teenage free ski sensation Eileen Gu winning her first gold medal at the Beijing Olympics. American-born Gu, 18, has jumped into the top position at the women's big air competition with her third run, scoring 94.5 feet at 16:20 and a perfect landing, making her total score 188.25 in the event's debut at the Winter Olympics. She narrowly beat out France's Tess Ledoux, who took silver with a score of 187.50. Switzerland's Mathilda Grimaud won the bronze. That was the best moment of my life, the happiest moment, day, whatever, of my life. I just cannot believe what just happened, said Gu after her win, according to the Olympic site. Even if I didn't land it, I felt it would send a message out to the world and hopefully encourage more girls to break their own boundaries, she added. That was my biggest goal into my last run. I reminded myself to have fun and enjoy the moment and that, no matter what, I was so grateful to even have this opportunity to even be here. Fans filled the stands to cheer for Gu, who was born and raised in California but decided in 2019 to compete for China. Known as the Snow Princess in China, Gu, already a reigning world champion, has become the unofficial face of China's Olympic ambitions and saw her popularity skyrocket in the lead-up to the Games. Gu's victory has sparked joyous scenes online. The topic has dominated searches on China's Twitter-like platform Weibo, where 7 of the top 10 trending topics were all about Gu's win. Fans on her Weibo, where she has 2.6 million followers, left more than 90,000 comments in less than 30 minutes after her win. Gu was born in San Francisco to an American father and Chinese mother. She grew up skiing on the slopes of nearby Lake Tahoe and had reached her first World Cup podium by the age of 15. At a news conference after her win on Tuesday, reporters have asked Gu several times if she was still a U.S. citizen. She dodged answering each time, saying only that she felt American in the U.S. and Chinese in China. Since joining China's national team, Gu's face has been splashed across magazine covers and billboards in the country. She has landed numerous sponsorships and brand deals and is fast becoming one of China's hottest young stars, though her newfound success has also come with increased scrutinies from critics in the West. Apart from her skiing career, she's also a model, brand ambassador, and was accepted into Stanford University, which she plans to attend in the fall.
The International Olympic Committee spokesman told reporters on Monday, February 7th, that it was not the IOC's place to judge whether Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai is speaking freely.
Earlier on Monday, French newspaper L'Equipe published an interview in which Peng denied she ever accused anyone of sexual assault, adding that she herself had deleted her social media post in November that had appeared to make such a claim. The well-being of Peng, a three-time Olympian, became a matter of global concern when she appeared to allege on social media that a former Chinese vice premier, Zhang Gaoli, had sexually assaulted her in the past. The IOC spokesman, Mark Adams, confirmed that Peng had met with IOC member Kirsty Conventry on Saturday, February 5, and went to watch the mixed doubles curling later that evening. Beijing 2022 Vice President Yang Xuan said the local organizing committee knew nothing about the meeting. In her now deleted post on China's Twitter-like Weibo, Peng had written, "Why did you take me to your house and force me into having relations with you?" Though she also described the relationship with Zhang as on and off, one that has also consensual. The post led the Women's Tennis Association to suspend tournaments in China and caused an international outcry about her safety. Discussion of the scandal has been heavily censored in China's tightly controlled cyberspace, and searches for Peng's name on Weibo continue to show no recent search results. Peng has now updated her Weibo account since the post was removed. The interview was conducted in Chinese and translated into English by a Chinese Olympic official during the interview, as well as an interpreter based in Paris, said the paper. Questions were submitted in advance and the paper agreed to publish Peng's responses without commentary. It said, Peng, pictured wearing a red tracksuit top with the characters for China on it, also sought to allay fears over her safety. Saving her life since November had been nothing special. She denied she had disappeared after the commotion when she has not seen in public for weeks. She also said she had not been aware of the worries expressed by the international community, such as the use of social media hashtag #WhereIsPengShuai by some of the world's top tennis players, including Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka, as she did not watch much foreign media news and could not read in English. The WTA, which said in December that Peng's appearances did not address its concerns about her well-being, did not immediately respond to a request for comments on her latest remarks. In a statement on Monday, the IOC said Peng would attend several Olympics events. She also plans to travel to Europe after the pandemic and visit the IOC headquarters in Switzerland, it added. Peng also said a previous knee injury that had required several rounds of surgery and her age made it unlikely she would compete professionally again.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. There was a symbolic resurrection on the streets of La Paz, Bolivia on Sunday to mark the return of carnival celebrations to the city after a pandemic pause. Pepino the Clown has returned to life from his bright red and gold coffin to officially mark the start of the city's Pasino Carnival.
The lively Carnival festivities color the city of La Paz. In Bolivia, Carnival is anticipated with excitement weeks before its arrival. Foam sprays and confetti are put on display as a celebratory buzz is felt all across the country. It should come as no surprise that Bolivia's lively large-scale Carnival celebrations assume a significant importance to the country's culture and society. The celebration in Bolivia is often associated with the world-famous Carnival in Oruro, which draws up to 400,000 yearly visitors. Nevertheless, the Carnival in La Paz is just as fun and vibrant, being one of the biggest events of the year in the city. The 4-day program entails folkloric dances, fancy dress parades, and other festivities. The main event of the Carnival Paseño is a Gisca Anata parade that takes place near Avenida Camacho in the center of the city. Thousands of dancers will tire themselves as they perform hours of folkloric dancing in colorful traditional clothing. A clown-like character called Pepino takes the center stage during the celebration. Pepino is considered to be the king of the Carnival Paseño and will therefore have to marry the crowned queen of the carnival. After the main event of the carnival have taken place, Cholitas mourn at Pino's funeral, wearing black poleras. As the carnival-filled days come to an end, he is buried just to be dug up again in time for next year's February festivities. The last carnival in 2021 was cancelled to stop the spread of coronavirus in the South American country. Music and dance since have returned to La Paz streets, but carnival participants are being urged to keep their proof of vaccination on them and to practice social distancing and mask wearing to keep the virus at bay. While much smaller than Rio's famed flamboyant carnival, the festivities in Bolivia are replete with color, dance and music and attract thousands of tourists to witness the unique fusion of indigenous traditions, whimsy, and colonial Catholicism.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.